Okay. Welcome to Second Star to the Right, a Traveler Chronicle. I am Patrick Thomas, and with me playing today is Carla May. Would you like
Hello. Yes, I am Carla May, a sometimes streamer on Twitch. You can find me at Carla Dickerson, and looking forward to having another round.
Also with us is Joshua Bafunzo.
Hey, how you doing, Josh?
And then we have Michael Steinbach.
Hello, this is Michael Steinbach. I'm playing Baxter Seidler. You can find me on Steinbach_the_DM on Instagram and Twitch.
And we have Michael Kolb.
Hi, I'm Michael Kolb. I'm playing Chris Gaines. You can find me on Insta, the Michael Kolb, or on Twitch, or anywhere you want to find me. I do a bunch of stuff.
A quick rundown of last game was the players, after they had met together on a spaceship, because many of the people they had worked for in the military have all died from one unit that was on one particular mission, were being chased by either pirates or the opposing group that they had fought. While their spaceship jumped to another planet, which was called Point, they found out that they jumped into a minefield. The minefield destroyed the ship they were in, but they were able to get to escape pods and crash on Endpoint. Learning that Endpoint was a desert planet with a alien species that was incredibly aggressive to them, called Minors, they were able to, after having a few conflict with Minors and being able to be covered in a dead Minor, convince them that they were either children or smelled like them, and were eventually able to get to a crash ship, is where the players have found themselves tonight. On climbing up to the crash ship, we have Chris Gaines is the first one to get inside the crash ship. Is there anything particular you're looking for?
I'm looking for.
Sorry, it's not my name. I apologize.
You're good. I'm looking for a communication console or any kind of evidence that there's still power in the coils somewhere.
You do. Actually, do you have any type of power roll or any engineering that would assist you in looking for that type of data?
I have electronics.
Okay. Can you roll that for me?
Uh, 10 with a boon of 6.
So, you find that all the wires have not decayed and could easily be powered on if you can get to the ship's main reactor. The main reactor, as you just kind of came in through the side, is definitely deeper in the ship, but you know with your electronics, you're going to need something a little bit more detailed to kind of actually power on the reactor, but there's no damage in the wires. It's not like the stuff is decayed so much that you couldn't power something through it.
That's a good sign.
Would I be able to assist or do my own, I guess, with my engineer type stuff?
You have an engineering actual power control, right?
Oh, let me make this bigger. Let's see. Engineer, specialty M drive.
M drive, that's gravity. I think one of the players does, though, have the ability to deal with engines.
I believe
Josh?
It is. He has a power plant engineering role. It will take you guys at least some exploration to find the power reactor, but with your power plant, you will eventually be able to get it on, as long as you don't get like a one Bane kind of roll.
So in essence, unless I'm really unlucky, I think that I should be able to put it back on.
Yes. Is there any other types of things you're looking in the ship, or you guys just want to go straight to that power kind of generator?
After hearing that that's all that's wrong, I think that would be the best thing for us to do, is just to focus on that one goal.
Okay.
I have a few things in the ship that I would like to explore, but I think the prioritization of communication and power would be the way to go.
Okay. I would like anyone to roll a piloting skill to find their way to where the engineering power generator would be.
I'm looking at anyone else in the party because my roll is bad.
Set up piloting, right?
Yes. Your knowledge of the ship. Your
Okay, so I rolled my pilot capability, and let me see. I got a roll of 12 and a bane of 1. Boo.
So you find exactly where it is, but it's behind a steel door that you may need to either pick or melt or break open. But you know exactly it's behind this one door.
So Michael's roll wasn't that bad. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Nope.
I'm sorry. Chris Gaines.
No one else
Didn't do
rolled a
so
pilot
bad.
but you.
Oh, pilot. Okay, got it.
So
I mean, should we all be rolling that? I mean,
I said anyone who wants to. If you don't have a pilot spacecraft and you think you're going to do worse than that, life could be worse. That's worse than that.
I do have a piloting, but sometimes, look, I got all my lucky rolls last game, okay?
Yes. You're like Raul says, that's the door. And you're like, yes, it is.
Nice. Nice.
I got a boon. I'm sorry, I'm supposed to be saying what I got. I got a 6 roll and I got a 1 bane, which is basically as low as I possibly could get, I think, with my modifiers. I think it's basically like almost like Snake Eyes, with my because I think it's trained. I think I'm trained in piloting.
Yeah, you had 1-3 on your roll.
Yeah, so just about as bad as it possibly could roll. Delightful.
Yes.
I'm glad to see that the Boon Bane hasn't changed at all.
You do still have that re-entry pack that you could melt the door with. Or you could have someone try to find some way to get past the door.
I would like to try to find some way to move past the door. Perhaps attempt to, with my computer skill, attempt to kind of hack the door or try to activate it.
But it doesn't have any power.
Okay. Well, if power was the reason why, then okay.
Yeah, you're going... It essentially closed because this ship was opened in space. And as it became open to the vacuum, it then crashed to the planet. And then when it crashed, the power generator went off. So this door has essentially been closed since it was in space. You might...
Could I use...
What'd you say?
Sorry.
No, I'm listening.
I'm sorry. Can I use mechanic? Mechanic it open?
You can try to use mechanic to find some pipe or something to bend it open. Yeah.
And I'd like to continue my investigation with computer, and this says electronics computer, just to maybe know where to assist in finding a power source to this particular door, I guess.
Okay.
So I rolled a 13 with a Boon Bane of 6. I didn't know that Boon Banes actually went up to 6. This is news to me.
Yes. So Nicholas puts a pipe inside the edge of it, and as he's sliding it down to kind of get some leverage, he actually triggers the emergency open, and it slides open. So, Carla, as you're beginning to look for the ability to turn on the door when you have power, as right then Josh opens it, and you see up ahead the actual generator.
Oh, look! Darn it, the door's closing.
No.
I just saw the generator,
No,
the door's opening?
Oh, door is open.
Oh, look, it's right there! So found it.
Okay.
Chris Gaines is next.
Yes. Chris?
Actually, I'd said I was next, but they solved the problem that I was going to attempt to solve.
Okay. Do you guys want to power on the engine?
I think we need to do a systems check before we try to power it up, or restore its minimal amount of power until we can run a check, a systems diagnostic.
Okay. I would like then everyone who has a electronics are going to be rolling different parts of the systems. So, Chris, everyone I think has a electronic skill. Is that correct?
I do.
I do.
And Cole,
Actually, if it's red, that means it's not trained? Wait, no, it has a check, but it's also red. I don't know what that means.
You probably have a specialty in it.
Yes,
Training
I
or
also
something, and you've got a specialty.
Yeah. So, Chris Gaines, are you there?
I am.
Okay. So, I would like all of you to roll any electronics roll, and what essentially we're going to do is the more each of you succeed, essentially the more and more systems that can be turned on when you power on the actual engine.
Ah!
Okay, 4-1, so Rye is not helping in that. Chris Gaines got a great roll.
11-2.
10-4, not bad.
4, yeah. 4, good neighbor.
And we're just waiting for Nicholas. And Nicholas's roll was F15-3. Okay, so you guys are able to pick 3 systems that will gain power. One of them is going to be communication, because that is the focus of Baxter. One of them is going to be the computer system that is going to be able to let you scan their logs and things like that. Chris Gaines, because yours was an open choice, you can pick any other subsystem that can be turned on, but you don't know if on the other side it's blown up. You could say, I want to turn on the engines, but the engines are gone. But you get to pick whatever subsystem you want, and that subsystem will work.
Life support.
Life support. Perfect. Okay. Now, we need Nicholas to roll his engine turn on, and all these systems are going to power on up.
That's power plant, not jump drives, right?
That's correct. And
I rolled an 11 with a boon bane of 2.
Perfect. That is enough to turn on the ship.
Woo!
The power kicks over, and as the moment that it kicks over, you also feel a nice cool breeze begin to run through the ship as the life support systems have kicked on. Inside the ship, you will not need to do any rolls for environmental, and you're just going to need to eventually try to find some food and water in here. But other than that, it's as pleasant as if you were spending the day at a mall.
Let's go to the mall.
Okay, Chris, what would you like to investigate first now that the ship has been powered on?
I'm going to go look for an armory.
Okay. Can you give me a recon?
That's a 6 with a 3.
So you find the armory. 80% of it has been taken. There are 2 armored vac suits that need to be powered up. You just need to plug it into a wall for a while. And there are a few handguns that are still available. It looks like these people geared up as they went to their escape pods.
Cool. I will start prepping the vac suits, plugging them in, getting powered up, because we are, 2 vac suits short? So
yes.
That's nice. And I will go ahead and grab a handgun for myself and check and see if there's enough ammo so that I can give everybody a pistol that doesn't have a weapon already.
Okay. Not a problem. We're now going to go to Baxter. what would you like to do now that you have power throughout the place?
I think the first move is communications, and life support was very much something that I'm glad came back on after having failed so badly the last couple of endurance checks. So yes, I think communication is my way to go. Trying to see if there's any way I can get a distress call or an open communication line to any of the cities here. Ideally, to at least find out where the heck we are on the planet.
Okay. I'd like you to roll your communication, and I'm giving you the heads up. It is going to be a minimum 12 to actually communicate.
Okay. That is achievable with my dice. Actually, operates.
And also, as a note, every time you got it. Wow.
Damn!
That's probably as good. That was as good a roll as you could have done, right?
That 15,
Good
16.
job.
Yes.
Is 1 point shy of my best roll.
That is impressive. And with the boon bane of 6, I think it's
6.
Jeez, wow.
So you interrupt a guy as he's like doing his like personal diary in the city over the hills. He's like, yeah, you know, today was hot as well, and you just start talking.
I'm happy to come back to this for RP if you want to get everybody else's roll.
I'm fine for doing it right now.
Okay.
Because it might affect other people's actions.
I start hearing him talk about, today was hot and all that. It's like, hello, this is Baxter. I'm so glad that I finally got in contact with someone. I'm stuck out in the middle of the desert.
That doesn't sound good.
Oh, no, it's not. And there are these minor beasts around, and they're a little problematic.
They're a little stinky, too.
Yeah. I apologize for breaking in on what was probably a private conversation, but we are, I'm stuck out here. Is there any kind of emergency services that you could connect me to so I could call for like any kind of pickup or something?
Well, there's only really one outpost here on all of Endpoint. Where are you?
That's you.
Well, no. There's like a city here, but like, where are you?
That is unfortunately the ship I was in encountered, mine problems, and so I crashed in an escape pod, and so I don't know exactly where I'm at.
Well,
I was hoping that any kind of emergency service may be able to triangulate my point.
because the thing is, we don't have any satellites over here because of all the mines. So we can't go just scan for what your communication is. And since I don't even have like a quadrant of the planet to look, I can't really send people to you.
Fair enough. If it's helpful, we had sun up about 2 hours ago. Or however long it's been that we were riding the minors to get to the ship here. So whatever part of the planet hit dawn a few hours ago, I'm within a few miles of that line at least. That should narrow down a lot of the planet.
You can either roll a science or a astronav to actually describe to him that information.
Okay, I'll do a science.
Okay.
An 8-3.
Oh. Well, it'll take us at least 2 days to get to you, if I can even figure that quadrant. And then in 2 days, you would need to put down some type of visual beacon for our guys to find.
Fair enough. Two days. Maybe you can hold out for that. Fortunately, I found the ship and getting power back on. I'll see if there's any kind of further identifying marks that I can get. I should be able to reinitialize this channel again after I've had a little more time to try to get the chip that I've just discovered here a little more operational. Maybe I can figure out something.
He'll give you a frequency code that will let you speak to the local people in the town, where you can actually call their local police.
Okay, awesome.
Okay. Now, next person. We're on. Let's do Rye.
I am going to do a recon to find out if there's any any type of creatures that may have ventured in. Either find some skeletons, find some live ones, just to kind of know if this is like a quote unquote cave for animals.
Okay. Can you do your recon roll? Oh, and Baxter, by the way, the person you spoke to is this Milton Jones I put on the show to players.
So I rolled an A2.
Okay. You come up to a door that looks reinforced. But because the computers are on, you can't open the door. But all the other doors look like they're normal pressurized doors. This actually has extra locks on the outside, like it's trying to keep something in.
Okay.
Are you going to try to open the door?
No, I'm going to make a note of it.
Okay. I think we're then on Nicholas, right? Everyone else is gone?
Yes.
What would you like to do?
So everybody is left, and I'm the only person left in the cockpit.
In the engine room.
In the engine room. Does it look like the engines? Can I do a roll to see if I think the engines are going to? I mean, is this ship completely covered? Like, is it like completely covered? Like, even if I could turn it on, and the engines worked 100%, I wouldn't be able to get it out. Like.
Well, the biggest problem is there are huge holes on the side of it that you walked in on.
Well, if we stay in the atmosphere and we go slow, perhaps that's not a problem.
You haven't checked the actual movement engines. You've turned on the power plant.
So I guess I would check to see if the engines are operational. Like this ship isn't particularly submerged, or is it like half sunk?
It is not sunk at all. It is the only ship you guys saw in the distance that was laying on the sand, like it crashed on the sand and didn't dig.
So yeah, I would test the engines, and I would like to run a systems check to see if the engines are operational.
Okay. You have an engine roll, I believe, as well as your power plant roll, right?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. Did that roll trigger?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Engine. Wait, so that would be. I'm looking for that actual roll, and I don't.
It is right here, called jump drives.
Okay. Jump drive. And I rolled a 12 with a boon bane of 5.
Okay. So you realize that while there is extreme damage to the engines, and it'd probably be about 60% likely to blow up the ship if you turn them on, more importantly, every piece of jump drive fuel has been taken. The normal powering of the ship is on like a kind of standard kind of fusion reactor, but to actually power the jump drives, you need special materials, and that has been scoured to nothing here. There isn't even residue in the tanks. So either A, people jumped their last jump here to do the fight that took them down, or B, people have scavenged this ship for the gas.
Huh. So, okay, so I wasn't sure if jump drives, like jumping from one place to the other, was the same thing as like, like impulse engines and warp engines,
I'm giving you the ability to use a greater skill of drives at all to be able to get this information.
Fair enough. Okay, so then it really doesn't matter. There's no point in turning on something if that may explode if you're not going to go anywhere. But it's good to know.
So
I don't. Well, I guess I'll scavenge the ship to see if there's anything of value in the rest of the ship. I kind of want to keep an eye out to see if everything else has already been scavenged from the ship, or if there's anything of value left.
So you walk up to Rye as she's like noting the crazy door. You only kind of notice it because she's standing there.
Yeah, check out this door, man. Like, it's totally bolted to... It almost seems like it was meant to keep something in there. Doesn't it look different?
Huh. I've never seen that before. Is there anything noted in the computer about perhaps some sort of dangerous animal or prisoner or whatever that could be in there?
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm thinking I'll leave it alone for now, but just maybe help you guys out with some other stuff.
By the way, Chris Gaines walks up carrying the vac suits that are now charged.
Hey, I found these vac suits.
Hey!
Thought you guys might like them.
Well, I would definitely like one, as I do not have one. Thank you very much.
I got you.
Are you going to put it on her, Chris?
Yes.
Excuse you.
Well, the question is, you have no vac suit skill, right? Right?
Yes, but the question should be, would I like it to put on me? No one's going to force me into a vac suit or push it onto me.
Are you going to allow him to aid you in putting it on?
Right, you want to wear this now because it's kind of heavy to carry around.
Yeah, I'll gladly take some assistance.
Gotcha.
And so, do I roll?
No, he
anything,
does.
Or is it his roll? Okay, not bad.
9 and 2.
Yes, you definitely get it on her. The helmet automatically has like speakers, so even if she puts the helmet on, she can talk.
What about Nicholas? Did you need some help? You got you good? Or wait, no, it's Baxter that needs this.
Yeah, Baxter doesn't have one.
I would very much appreciate one of those. I imagine that'd help quite a bit. Also, hey guys, I was able to get communication.
Are we all in the same hallway now?
You're able to call down the hallway to one another. Yes.
Okay.
I was able to get communication to the nearest outpost. However, unless we can give them exact coordinates where we are on the planet, it's going to take them maybe 2 days to actually be able to find us scouring this big old desert.
Well, we should see if we can find some flares or something.
Well, I have flares.
Oh, there you go. She got flares.
Do we know that we can trust this guy? We're just being hunted.
Don't know as we have much choice. Unless this ship can fly.
Well, if we hunker down here and take a look around and make sure if we could get some food, some water, we could possibly stay here. And what is it that we need? What is it that that would keep us here without using this particular ship?
See, I would rather not stay here for too long because, food and water, and we're in the middle of the desert. It just doesn't seem like an extended vacation. Even if they were coming here to attack us, I would prefer them to show up so I could kill them all and take their vehicles than just stand here.
Well, I am not completely sure that we have to give up this ship, because if we are able to get this ship going, it's ours. If we have to wait for other people or even be at their mercy, I'm not really particularly comfortable with that, if you know what I mean.
Well, it's crashed in the middle of the desert, so it probably got hit by mines, and then it crashed. And I'm sure, we're going to find half the ship missing. That's just my guess.
Sure. I have no doubt that this is a damaged vehicle. There are probably other damaged vehicles, maybe smaller ones that might not be so damaged. Are you guys on a time clock? Because I realize it would be best to get out of here, but I'd also like to not invite somebody into the area who may be part of the group that was just chasing us.
Yeah, I know that. I do have a concern where I do share her concerns about how we can get somebody else here, and the fact that we are basically sitting ducks. But I will tell you that I checked it out, and there's the engines may be able to start up. It's like 50-50 whether they would explode, but regardless, there's no energy in them, so we're not going to be able to propel the ship anywhere. But perhaps, especially considering what sort of planet we're on, it would benefit us to see what else is on the ship that's salvageable, that we could perhaps salvage to pay for someone coming to pick us up.
That's the kind of information I need to know. Great, thank you so much for the update.
No problem. Because assuming that that someone comes in there and they're on the up and up, they're probably still going to want payment. If someone comes in, they're not on the up and up. Anything that we could have that could help us also advantageous. I would think.
You guys also turned on the computer, so the full ship log is available as well.
Will help me with that. Now, is that going to be the computer, electronics computer? There we go.
It's going to be in electronics computers if you're trying to get more out of it than it's trying to give you.
Well, I have not asked for any information yet.
I'm saying it's not trying to stop you. It's you're trying to pick a lock and the door's open.
Okay, so you're saying that there's a monitor there and it's already telling me the contents of it?
You can start typing away and it will give you any information you look for.
Okay, then I type in there and try to find out what the contents of this behind the door.
Behind the door, it is going to say this is part of security procedure MPH. Part of the ship's original goal of understanding anomaly search.
Word for word. Can you repeat that or give me another gist? I would like to type it in.
This is part of Project MPH. It is a result of our anomaly search.
So, guys, I'm not really comfortable opening this up. I'm just going to let you guys know that's my vote on this, and I'd like to, I guess, scavenge or like
the computer says, would you like to see the video screen inside?
Yes.
And you see a dais inside, and on top of that dais is an object. That object.
Mysterious note.
Okay. That was badass.
I scooch over and I point it at it. I point it out to people and I say, "Wow, look at this thing."
Some kind of armor.
Are there any notes on their research of the item to figure out what it was?
That would take computer to start hacking it.
Okay. Well then, I've already got it pulled up. So let me.
Yeah. But like, so you get the idea of like a phone book is a phone book. You're now trying to hack into secret data.
Hey, is there any way we can figure out the name of this ship?
Yes.
Not too bad.
Well,
I rolled a 10 and a 5.
That's actually really good. So essentially, this was a robot that they had gained some type of signal that they detected on a weird frequency, and the signal information essentially gave them schematics to build this robot. And the robot was essentially given the data to come to this location. And so the Imperial ships built a few of these. There's a few others on some other Imperial ships. And they're coming here to understand the transmission of the signal, because the robot they asked to build is of an incredibly high technological level. And the fact that it was told so simply was part of a secret operation by the Imperium.
Okay, and how it reads on the screen. Okay, so apparently this is a robot that was put together by some secret ops guys of the Imperium. It was able to provide the schematics to this particular location, and essentially, it looks like 2 or 3 or a small number of ships were brought to this particular location based off of the signal, according to the signaling of the robot.
Well, fuck.
And Baxter, you are able to pick up the name of the ship. It is the ISS Iron Glove.
Iron Glove, okay.
Do we have reason to believe this room is also keeping in all the signals that this robot would be putting out?
It was that they received signals, not the robot was sending signals.
Does the room stop it from receiving signals?
You don't know.
Is anybody having trouble seeing the photo of the Iron Glove?
There is no photo.
Oh, got it.
It is very insane, after all. I kind of want to talk to this robot. Because, let's face it, we're fucked. If people find out we're on this ship, and they get it back to the Imperium, they're going to want to come collect their robot.
Do we know how long this Iron Glove ship has been here? Can we look at the logs?
Yes. The last log was about 11 years ago.
Yeah, it was like 11 years ago that this thing was on its path. So as far as expedition worthy, I don't know if people are in a hurry to find it.
I'd like to give you a little bit of a rundown of the last few days of the ship, since you went to the last logs.
Sweet.
The Iron Glove was part of a flotilla of 55 Imperial ships that came in this operation of the MPH. When they came to Endpoint, they already found it covered in mines, and that ships of the Grand Duchy of Stoner, which is south of you if you look at your star maps, were already here attempting to land on the planet. The Imperium sent messages telling them to stop, as this was Imperial space. The Grand Duchy of Stoner began to attack automatically by using gravity pushes to throw the mines into Imperial ships. They fought continuously for about 2 to 3 weeks, constantly jumping out for reinforcements and repairs, and new ships coming into play. After 2 or 3 weeks, the Grand Duchy of Stoner sent a message essentially saying, can we have an armistice The communication has stopped from this planet, as well as our scanners for the material that we are looking for is also missing. There's no point for us to fight one another if both what we're fighting for is gone. In the armistice, both people were allowed to send down 52 members of an exploration team, and they were able to prove that the signal was no longer transmitting from endpoint. And this is the first time you've heard this, the Arniac crystals were no longer there. After that scenario, they went back to the ship, and as they were preparing to leave, they were attacked again by Grand Duchy of Stoner ships, and that is the last message, as you understand the Grand Duchy of Stoner ships finished the ISS Iron Glove, and it has now landed on the planet, destroyed.
Quick question. Did the ship that we were in that got barraged by the mines, was that a Imperium a charter kind of ship, or was it just a Grand Duchy?
Neither. It was independently owned. It was just a random, like, Princess Cruises go anywhere in the galaxy kind of thing. With the information from the logs, is there anything people would like to look up or other questions of the computer?
Well, a couple, three things, but I'm happy if other people have questions first.
I just want to go scavenge, so you guys can do whatever you want with this room. I'm going to go scavenge.
Can we start with Chris then? And then we'll go on to Baxter?
Perfect.
Chris? Okay, I guess Chris is not here right now. We'll go to Baxter.
Okay, are any of the logs dated after the crash?
No.
Do any of the final SOS messages kind of thing that were sent, do any of them indicate rough coordinates as to where we might have landed? Where they thought they were going to crash?
No, navigation was toasted once they got spun around the minefields. Essentially, you get a kind of a visual of what happened is they were beginning to fly away, and a stoner ship essentially shot a group of mines behind them, which threw the mines into their engine, and then they fell through the minefields, and then they crashed on the planet. So
okay. They were in bad shape.
Yes. They definitely were able to call a abandoned ship, and multiple escape pods were fired, but you have no idea how many of those people lived.
Okay. Those were the two main pieces that I wanted to look at, and then trying to scavenge for food and water.
Okay. Nicholas? You there, Nicholas?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry,
No worries.
I didn't realize I was still muted. Do we believe that the Imperium got the message that they were attacked, or not really?
Did the Imperium get a message that they were attacked? They were unable to send a message out before their destruction. Beyond individual star system communication can easily take 10 to 20 minutes of not moving.
Would I believe that if we were to secure this robot, that it would likely end? Would we be able to sell this to the Imperium, or that the Imperium would kill us for having it?
That's a good question. Think we're looking at a broker skill.
I am a broker. How lucky.
I've got, if you talk to me about that, I've got some broker too. Maybe I can assist in some way.
I'll say this. I'll let you
Alright.
both roll, and you can pick between your roll and Steinbach's Boon or Bane.
Well, and I'm in the vac suit with speakers, so if you guys need to talk to me as well, I do have broker ability.
Oh wow, we are a bunch of brokers.
You just need a bunch of fixers.
Thus far, not so much. I rolled a 13 with a boon bane of 5.
Okay, that's about as good as you're going to get.
Okay, so I don't need to do it.
Yeah, no. Okay. If you tried to just sell it to the Imperium, you'd have to be pretty wily to make it not seem like you're blackmailing them. If you sold it to a computer corporation or a mercenary group, they'd buy it hands down, no problems. If you sent it to the Duchy of Stoner, they would probably buy it hands down, no problem. It's the biggest problem is if you sold it to the Imperium, they may think you shot down the ship.
And then waited 11 years to sell it?
Maybe you couldn't find a good buyer.
Oh, yeah.
That's a real slow play. In 11 years, we're totally going to sell this back to you. I would like to look up and see. Was this robot controllable by the people on the ship?
There's no discussion of ever controlling it. Chris, are you available now?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
What would you like to do? Do you want to deal something with the computer now that you also have the full aspect of the ship's logs? What types of things would you like to do?
I'm outside of my wheelhouse. This is like outside of my skill set expertise. But I will use my mechanics to try to figure out what is still like operable on the ship and what is not.
So operable on the ship, you actually I'm actually going to roll just to see how well you do on this for you. So on your turret roll, you got an 11-6. You actually find 2 active still pulse cannon turrets that are working on the side of the ship. And
Awesome.
you can get them to work, but every shot you're going to have to roll to see if you've damaged the generator.
Okay. But the ship is still buried.
No. It's on the surface.
Oh, okay.
This was the one you guys went to really far away that wasn't buried.
Oh, okay. I thought this was the buried one. Okay. Yeah, that's right. I'm sorry. I've been so confused. Yes. Well, that's cool. So I'll let radio over the our internal comms let everybody know that hey, we've got defenses, positional defenses.
Right on.
Do you power up the gun just to even to do the check, or are you just like, oh, everything works? With your Boon Bane, you can decide.
I will do a test cycle.
Okay. When you power it up, across the speakers of the entire ship, you guys hear an AI kick up and say, I'm sorry, you're not authorized to fire weapons on this ship. Can I please have your military rank and coordinate?
I use my rank from my previous service.
Okay. I want you to roll just your social.
God.
Because that's what it's based on, right? You got a pretty good roll for your roll. It's like, yes. Have you rejoined the military? My communications have not been active for 10 years.
Yes.
That's pretty great.
Did you enter in a higher rank, Sergeant Gaines?
Yes, I was commissioned.
Absolutely. Captain Gaines, is there any other assistance I can give you?
Yes, I need a full rundown of the ship's operational status.
I'm having difficulty sensing all my parts, Captain Gaines. I do know that the mess is currently active, that our communication systems have recently been used by an unauthorized personnel. Our storage container for our project is currently still sealed, and our engine have been inspected but not powered on. Is there anything else I can help you with, Captain Gaines?
Authorized user communications officer Baxter Cinderlair. Authorized user engineering officer Rye. Authorized user civilian ambassador Nicholas Windsor.
Absolutely, Captain Gaines. Can you tell me what happened to the previous captain?
Previous captain perished upon ship external
Iron Glove?
upon recon of crashed planet.
May I ask you a question, Captain Gaines?
Go for it.
I'm never going to fly again. Am I, Captain Gaines?
Odds are low.
What the heck is up
We're going
with
to see what we
this
can do.
AI?
I couldn't hear you. I'm sorry.
Odds are low, but we've got some of the best, most talented minds in the galaxy working on making this happen.
Thank you for your psychological support, Captain Gaines. I will do my best.
AI, what's your nickname? Your handle?
My name is TOO.
All right, 2. Sydney shipwide message. This is Captain Gaines of the Iron Glove. Pleased to meet your AI assistant. 2 will assist you in operations of running the ship.
Everyone hears that, but before they hear it, they hear like an old classic, like naval whistle, and then his message is played.
Okay, cool.
The people who are on the consoles essentially realize that the last captain's action was to force the AI into the weapon systems and essentially not allow them to be used by any like pirates or things like that. And that's why it wasn't able to deal with all the other pieces until he started powering guns. Okay.
Cool. And I believe it said that the mess was operational. So I have a feeling I know where Baxter's headed next.
Okay. So you want to ask TOO where the mess is?
Yes.
It starts streaming these flashing, like somewhat broken halogen lights, walking you a path to the mess.
We're going to head that way because I've had just a little bit of water in the last couple days and I had a real tough time crossing that sand. So if there's anything that's salvageable food-wise, I want in on it.
We are going to do a random D6 where we're going to be able to see on how much salvageable food there is.
Well,
There's
that-
none.
well, I was already heading toward like looking for stuff. So, is it possible to do that and then have him, either attempt to follow or we ended up in the same place?
I'll let you do an investigation because I have another way for you to find food.
Okay. Let me get to the right page.
But yes, when Baxter essentially opens up the mess, you just see that every packet has been essentially either dust or it is a maggot kind of hive.
So no investigation needed on me?
No.
Or
he's in the mess. You have a chance to find food elsewhere.
Oh, okay. So I already see that. I see what you're saying. Okay, got it.
Rye, do you want to roll that check to see if you can find things elsewhere?
So I don't know where investigation is.
You have no investigation, so just roll intellect.
Okay, thank you.
No worries.
Stopped because I didn't know that what you wanted.
No worries.
Okay, so I rolled a 10 and a 1. Oh my goodness gracious.
Okay. You walk into some crew quarters, and you start searching through like some people's like lockers, and you open up a locker and you essentially find a space age Pop-Tart that has been here for 10 years. It is it is very nutritious, but not very pleasant to eat.
So was it already was it still in its package though?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well,
it is 100% edible.
I don't need it right now. I'll hold on to it.
Yes. So you have your one jug of water and you have your now one Pop-Tart. You're the survival expert of the group.
I don't have any water. Baxter had the water.
I know, but I meant you found the water.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Actually, can you just do that roll one more time? Because you're searching through all the cabin corners.
Okay. All right, much better. Much better. 12 and a 6.
You find a huge box of it's almost candy bars, but they're nutritional, and inside there is a fluid inside. And you found like 30 of them. Like this guy obviously got them as like a parting gift.
Okay, so nutritional bars.
Yeah. That will easily be able to feed all of you for a week.
Okay.
Because that was a great roll.
I, in my speaker from my back suit, say, I found a hoard of food. And Baxter doesn't hear me because he's not in a vac suit.
Yes.
Sounds good.
So, anyone else want to do
I thought I got loaded in by Cole.
I have not loaded you into a vac suit yet.
Nope.
Down the hall.
He has not rolled that roll.
But I do have one for you when you're...
Okay. Do you want to go find Baxter now and put him in that vac suit now that you've heard them calling that out?
Yes.
Okay. Baxter, are you going to stop Chris from putting you in a vac suit?
Oh, not at all.
Okay. Can you roll that at your leisure, Chris?
And 5.
10-5. He puts you in that thing. Fits like a glove.
Wait.
And also, Chris, now you also see the mess and all the maggots and stuff. But if you guys essentially shovel away all the bugs, there is enough fresh water here as well in like some of the coffee machine. While you can take the coffee out, you can still say, "Give me coffee," and I'll just give you a cup of water. Okay.
Excellent. Coffee, or not coffee. Well, coffee's very important, but water's probably just almost as important.
Nicholas, what would you like to do?
I'm going to talk with the AI.
Okay.
I'd like to know if the do you prefer to be called TOO or 2?
I find TOO makes less confusion when people try to actually describe an interaction between actions and objects.
Makes sense. So TOO. I was wondering. I was wondering about this robot that's in the lockdown room. Was the ship's captain able to give it orders, or was it autonomous, or was it? Could you explain more?
I've never seen the ship's captain give it an order. I have heard the ship captain go into the room, turn off video control, and leave the room with further information.
Huh. Can you give me access to the captain's computers?
That is only accessible by the captain. Do you want to hack him, or are you gonna have Captain Gaines open it up for you.
Oh, she meant my captain. Yeah. I'll send Captain Gaines a message asking him if he can give me access to the captain's logs.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry, Captain. I'm unable to give remote access to that. He only would be able to watch it while in the authorization of a captain.
I'll be there at once. And I'll go over there and take a look with him.
Are you guys going to kind of gather around since you guys have all done your searching?
Sounds reasonable that we would all gather around.
Okay. So you guys are essentially on the piloting deck while there's all the terminals. Imagine it very kind of Star Trek. You guys have terminals everywhere. And on the front monitor, now that Chris is here, Nicholas can start asking questions about the captain's log.
First of all, does the captain's log have information to compel the robot?
There is no statement in the captain's log that says the word compel and robot.
Do you remember what was the name of the robot? Do we have the name of the robot again?
There's no name of a robot. There's a name of a project that this robot is an anomaly of.
MPH.
Is there anything that allows you to get information from the MPH anomaly?
It takes vocal communication with the MPH anomaly.
Is there anything about there being danger to opening up the room?
We kept the room so secured for security purposes, as few people had the top secret enough access to be able to communicate to the MPH projects.
Can I verbally? Can we have Captain Gaines gain control of the MPH if we want to have it leave the room?
I don't understand your question. That is not going to be any search term in the captain's logs.
Is there any control module that allows you to get more information from the MPH?
I'm gonna kind of reiterate. There is no information on the captain's log in any fashion or form about controlling the robot. None. The captain never tried. The captain never wrote about it. The captain never said other people did it.
I think to find information that you're looking for, their Ambassador Windsor might have to look into the scientists' files. Perhaps they had a programming understanding, like a schematic that they figured out.
That's an interesting idea.
I can assist on that if needed for science.
Tio, does the science officer have any additional information, or the captain was the only one with any information about this?
The science officer does have different information. So, Carla, would you like to roll your xenobiology?
Yeah. Well, how is that xenobiology if it's a
You're going to get the answer when you roll it.
Okay.
Because it's a secret.
Okay. All right. I rolled a 9 and a 5. Not bad.
Okay. The signal that they got to build the robot was unequivocally alien in origin.
Okay.
They were sent a message. The scientific officers essentially said they were picking it up from planets north of Endpoint on the map, essentially. Like, let me pull up the map. Like, they were gathering it all the way at Kimiri. They were getting the signal coming from Endpoint. And the signal was giving them the build instructions for different robotic pieces. When they built the pieces, communication verbally with it demanded to get nearer to Endpoint to give further information. And the closer we got to endpoint, the more ability it was able to speak. We believe there was some communication coming from endpoint that the Xenos were essentially talking through the robots.
I pass along this information to the others. Essentially, what I just read, guys, is that an alien signal came from endpoint, and the Imperium, with their research, they put together different pieces of the robot, and they were instructed to move closer to endpoint. And as they were moving closer to endpoint, the robot in the room was able to verbalize and speak to the captain. And so the only information that we would be able to get will need to be verbal in nature or audio in nature.
The science logs have blueprints for these various robot pieces?
No. They say that they are currently held at Kamiri and transported to... they essentially were received at Kamiri. They were held there. They were then... Duplicates were made, sent to some of the best robotics military factories in the Imperium. The robots were built and then shipped back to Kamiri.
Cool.
What was the, is there any log of what the robot was saying?
No.
And is it Kermi, K-H-E-M, I'm sorry, K-H-E-R-M-I, is that the one?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm updating my notes.
So assuming we can get somebody to come pick us up, are we thinking we want to take this robot with us? We want to leave it there and pretend we never saw it? We want to... What do y'all want?
Well, I have some history of helping AIs into robot bodies. Maybe we can speak to this robot and find out if that's something that we can... what's that word? Finagle?
Are you saying that if it doesn't have an AI itself, we would put TOO into it? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm just talking about my experience with AIs and robots, that I might be able to finagle a conversation with it, I guess.
Can we find out if they thought there was an AI inside of it, or if it was purely just like information from being broadcast from alien?
There's differing scientific opinion.
Do you all want to go in and talk with it, or do you think that's a terrible idea, or it's too dangerous to do so?
Well, I think first maybe we, get some food, get some water.
I want to clean myself up.
Get cleaned up. And then when we have a fresh body and mind, we'll go in and attack that issue. Maybe have a conversation or try to.
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
I'm down for resting.
So, in the classical role-playing way, you guys take a long rest.
Hey.
Does anyone want to do anything or keep a watch in the middle of the night?
I think it's a good idea if we keep a watch. Yeah, sure. I'll keep first watch.
Okay.
I tell TO to alert me if there's any entrances to the ship.
Will TO alert any of us, or just you specifically?
Yeah. Do you want to ask
What
TO? He asked.
TO, do you understand that to mean that you'll let any of the officers know if there's a problem, or will you only be letting Chris Gaines know?
Captain Gaines asked for me to notify him.
Captain Gaines, do you want him to notify all of us, or whoever's on watch, or only you specifically?
Notify myself and whoever's on watch.
I would like to notify you that only 60% of my outside sensors are working.
Excellent. That's why we'll keep a watch.
I will locate one of the closer, I guess, bunker rooms, and I will grab a pillow. No. Is there enough water to actually have a shower?
There is essentially vacuum pressurized showers that essentially will pull everything off of your body.
Okay.
That sounds unpleasant.
I will remain in my stink and grab a pillow from one of the closer by bunkers and remain in my vac suit and attempt to sleep near the door of the robot.
Okay. So, the only one who's keeping watch is Nicholas.
Oh, I have 2 items. One, in talking with Chris, as he's putting the vac suit on me, wondering where these came from, if there were any other interesting supplies, wondering if he tells me that there are guns.
Chris.
Yes, I got pistols for everybody.
Okay, great, because I only had a knife before that. And then the other item is, I don't know how much of this would necessarily be on a military ship and whatnot, but in roughly the same time frame as the ship would have been in operation, Baxter had some, issues with a couple of people, including a Mackenzie Dalton, who has started a mercenary group, and just wondering if there were any old reports. Granted, it would be dated data, but there might just be if there are any interesting rumors or old research pieces that might be in military files.
Some information that they have is they're almost positive that the ships coming to attack them were coming from Burdain in the Grand Duchy.
Okay.
And the ships essentially had to hop through those independent ones to get to endpoint. There also is a belief that the mines don't actually have any production marks. Like, it's not like built from some factory somewhere and shipped here. Not a lot of people obviously can sit and examine the mine, but if you were flying in a ship above here and you used your scanners, there's no indicator who made the mines.
Okay.
And I will let you roll a computer to just get some random data, but that's like the first 2 things that come up interesting.
Okay. Computer would be an electronics roll?
Yeah, your comm. Your communications roll.
10-2.
10-2. Not bad. Give me a topic, and I'll give you more data.
Mercenary group Flashfire.
Some of the people on the ship have fought Flashfire after you have eliminated them, and multiple ones of them have noted that the Flashfire people physically change in appearance every few months due to the massive genetic manipulation done in them.
Okay, I'm terribly sorry. We had the enemies, which were the 4-point rebel group.
The 4-point. Well, who's the Flashfire? I thought that was Flashfire.
So the Flashfire, in my personal rivals section, there's Froman Angels and Mackenzie Dalton.
Okay, let me go.
And the note is that Mackenzie Dalton has formed a merc group known as Flashfire.
Oh, okay, that's your ally, right?
This is my ally turned rival, I think.
Your ally turned rival. Okay. Mackenzie Dalton. Oh, that group. Sorry, I was thinking 4 points. You just got an extra piece of information for free.
Okay. Well, again, if we want to make that's the information I get, and I don't get anything about Flashfire, I'm cool with that.
No, it's more than fine. It was my mistake. Flashfire has been hired by the Grand Duchy of Stoner.
Okay.
And what they're doing right now is they're shipping particular things and doing guard duty to incredibly hard to get systems, and you don't know why. Like, they're shipping stuff to that 459-418 that you see in between Grand Duchy of Stoner and the Stukara League. Like, I'll even put a circle on it on the, a square. I'm going to put a...
Okay, I get you.
Yeah, we need draw shape. On that square, they're sending the Flash Firepoint people are shipping stuff from the Grand Duchy of Stoner to that place, and they're guarding the shipment.
Okay. And so this was the 11 years ago data?
Yep.
Cool. All right. It's more information I had about Flashfire than I did before.
Yes.
Cool.
And if you want to put that on your little contact for the person, that's helpful. Okay.
All right. That would be... I would be spending some time doing that for a while before I finally nod it off.
Okay. So the only person that is truly staying entirely awake, though, is going to be Nicholas, right?
I'm also going to wake up call it 3 hours before wake up.
Okay. Nicholas, can you roll me an investigation or a recon? Still have you on mute, Nicholas. Okay, I guess Nicholas is not there. Chris, can you do me yours for your... Oh, Nicholas just rolled, but he's still on mute.
So I rolled a 19 and a 4.
Okay. While you're looking outside, you see in the minefield other ships getting hit by the minefield tonight.
Oh, goodness.
Okay. Now, can I have Chris Gaines's roll?
It's a 9 and a 1.
It's a beautiful night.
Probably not off a few times.
It's beautiful.
While I'm paying attention, can I? Never mind. I don't think I can do two things.
Okay, it is the next day. There is one more day that you would need to stay here before the rescue team should arrive in your sector. Because they said 2 days. Is there any other investigation you want to ask the ship? Or open up the portal of the robot or anything? Or
Baxter never said that he made recommunication with them. So that timeline or that time frame really wouldn't have started yet.
He asked them to help.
Oh, did I miss that?
Yeah, and I thought I said that to the team as well.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
thought the same thing as Rye, but I'm happy to know that they're coming. I guess we thought you had contacted somebody, and whatever, it doesn't matter.
Here's long and short. Baxter said he could. He didn't say he did. He actually did. In the communication he told all of you guys, he's like, well, I spoke to this guy, and it's going to take him 2 days to get out here. I've asked them to help us. They will be here in 2 days. So I absolutely see your guys' misinterpretation.
So I guess my question is I'd like to search a ship for like contraband or trucks and stuff.
Okay, I will let you roll a streetwise at a very high level. Because if a guy was going out the airlock, it's the first thing he'd grab.
No good.
11 is actually pretty good. 11's pretty good. You find some packets of like vapor drugs where like you can sniff them and you're gonna get high.
Okay.
But you don't know what the drugs do. That's the one.
I'll stuff it in my back suit. I guess my last question is I want to tell everybody what I saw last night. I didn't think it was worthy to wake everybody up, but I wanted to let them know what I saw.
Do you do that through the vac suit then?
Sure. I mean, this is once everybody's awake. I don't know. I assume we're convening in the morning?
I don't want to assume anything.
In the morning, everyone has their breakfast of their nutrient bar given to them by Rye, and during their nutrient bar and dirty water that would be called coffee if there was coffee grounds, you can have that conversation.
Yeah, I saw. So, I mean, I don't assume people come here that often. It's kind of disconcerting, as in perhaps it's more of the pirates who are following us, and maybe they're crash landing on the planet, or not quite crash landing on the planet. But I thought it best to let you all know.
So
That's good to know. 2.
Yes, Captain?
What files do you have on Endpoint? How long have these mines been here?
The research on Endpoint of 17 years ago, which was the Imperial research, did not list any mines here. When we finally began to arrive to deal with the MPH project, mines appeared that were not on the record, which made many people who jumped in fall into the minefields.
Thank you, too.
I would like to do another kind of search instead of the survival search. I want to kind of do the same thing as scavenge to locate possibly not possibly, but specifically night goggles.
Okay. What type of role would you like to try that on?
I would say either survival or electronics. Well, no, that's a computer. Yeah, I would have to say probably streetwise or survival. But
I'll let you do an electronics to rip apart broken sensors to make a set of goggles.
I'm sorry, you said electronics?
Yes, you're essentially going to scavenge it from other pieces in the ship.
Okay. I rolled a 9 and a 2.
So you've made a pair. The problem is they only work for 5 minutes because the battery life is so bad.
So essentially, I know that, or I burn it out for 5 minutes.
No. You essentially realize when you have it plugged in the wall, it lasts, and when you pull it out, you see the battery life just dripping, and you're like, oh, this is only going to last 5 minutes.
Okay.
So I'd like to know, assuming that people are going to come tomorrow, do we want to keep the weapon systems active, scavenge the weapon systems so that we could perhaps take them with us / sell them? Do we want to talk with the robot and see if we can find out information, or put it in a bag and take it with us? What would you all like to do?
I'd like to talk to the robot, then I'm going to go take a look at the engines.
Would you like me to tell you about the engines, which I've already done, which I've already looked at, or are you good with engines and you'd rather look at them yourself?
I'm pretty good with them. Go ahead and tell me what you know.
I might tell them everything that I found out with my awesome roll before.
Yeah, essentially, the Duchy of Stoner people pushed a mine into the engine.
Yeah. I was role playing. That's unfortunate. So, robot.
Do you want to go and be with the robot alone, or would you like us to come with you?
Can I try one last thing before we talk to the robot?
Absolutely.
So salvage rights out here in the Empire. Can we claim this ship as our own as salvage?
If it wasn't on a planet.
Okay. Darn.
Yeah. If it was an open space and you came by and there was no power, no crew, you absolutely could salvage it. The problem is the moment it lands on a planet, it's the people who own the planet, and that is the government.
Okay.
Who owns this planet?
The Imperium.
So we can't exactly sell the Imperium a ship that they technically own.
Yes.
I wasn't sure if Stoner was currently in charge of this planet. That's why.
No. So, like, if you look at the map, you see that red kind of breakdown on the north side that says the Third Imperium.
1 second. Let me look for the map.
It is the background screen of the current game.
Mm-hmm.
So, that background, that red check mark essentially at the top, that is the edge of the Imperium space. Endpoint is in that end. Okay? It's right on the edge. The Stoners are that purple one underneath.
What do the yellow lines, what does the yellow, like, circles, what does that denote?
A circle means it's a multi-planet system where there's actually people or bases on it.
Okay. So, go ahead.
After we talk to the robot, we should look for like a skiff or loading machines, something to carry stuff better than the rover for, when we leave here. That way we can load our salvage, like the weapon systems.
I think that's a great idea.
You could try to improve the rover enough to actually drive all of you with the parts from the ship here.
What
Yeah, I'll do that after the robot.
I would try that.
Okay. So, but you're first doing it at the robot. Okay. Is Chris opening the door, or is he just going to have anyone open the door, or can you guys walk me through the experience?
I think
Can we,
we don't.
like, knock on the door? See if the robot moves?
According to the video, you do not see the robot move when you knock on the door.
Okay.
So before we open up this door, I just want to mention, while this robot may be, I figured out that this robot could probably. When I did my broker roll, Vec, did I figure out how much money we'd likely be able to get for it, or no?
I gave you a lot of people to sell it to. Every one of those people would give you a different price.
So I think we could make a decent amount of money off of this. But before we open the door, I do understand that people didn't know a lot about this. There's a possibility that the robot will, I don't know, rip us all apart, have its own, its own agenda. Maybe it's smarter than us. I just want us all to understand that this could be disastrous, but it could also be a win.
Yep. It's a high-low situation. Possible middle ground.
We're gonna be opening the door.
Okay, as long as everybody understands.
Feel free to step back and give yourself plenty of space.
Chris, could you do the honors?
2, unlock the door.
Okay. You put your hand up against the lock. It begins to open. You notice that there was no air inside the room with the robot. They intentionally made it a vacuum. The air of your open compartment and now the vented ship begin to flood into that room. And you see a whole bunch of dust begin to fall now that the air molecules are essentially touching it.
Am I able to almost pre-roll athletics to be on my guard?
I will let you pre-roll athletics. Absolutely. You're like, I'm like a cat.
Not too bad. I rolled a 7 and a 2.
Okay. You're not going to be flat-footed if something crazy happens.
Thank you.
Okay.
Chris strolls into the room.
2, is there any reason that we all couldn't go in the room? Is that prohibited or is that fine? I know the captain used to go in alone.
The captain can assign anyone to the project.
Two. All current officers are an ambassadorship is assigned to this project. And Chris strolls right to the robot and looks it square in the face.
It turns its head up and looks at you.
Are you able to communicate at this time, robot?
It nods.
What is your designation?
It begins to speak in a particularly archaic aspect of your guys' tongue. Does anyone have linguistics?
I don't, but I would do an education roll on it.
I have a weird word.
You do, but you also have a generic linguistics.
Where?
It's language.
Just language itself?
Yes.
Oh, okay, hold on a minute. I roll a 10 and a 1.
You realize that it is speaking a human tongue as if it would have been said probably 1,000 years ago. So as hard as it is for us to understand Canterbury Tales, it is that much more difficult. So, every
I don't have anything then.
no. Every time you ask it a question or it speaks, I will let you roll a language roll to decipher the intent.
Okay. So do I get anything from its first comment?
That was to understand. I will let you roll again to now decipher the comment.
All right. A 9 and a 3.
I am the sun. I am the spark. I am the light in the darkness.
Crap, we got a religious figure.
It is not saying, by the way, these things religiously. It's saying them like physics.
Okay.
Just it's not trying to be metaphorical. It's trying to describe a scientific principle without having the language to describe it.
Can I use an education roll to understand this?
Absolutely. You're going to need the breaking tens to get anything because she actually has a language and you don't.
Well, I could give him that information and then never mind. Well, that's not too bad. Oh, he said 10. Yeah.
Can I also try that education roll?
Absolutely.
That's such a garbage roll. I'm so mad.
Oh.
I didn't. Worse than him.
Baxter's like, sounds! Sounds like sounds!
Clearly we all had a bad sleep. I was really tired from last night, that's why.
So, Rye, are you going to describe to them what the data is?
So my initial understanding where I thought it was religious, that would not have happened because of your explanation, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Right after Rye speaks.
Sorry.
This thing is trying to say that it's some kind of light or creation of something, maybe. I'm not really sure what's going on with it. That's all I got. Because Carlo, the player, can't remember what you said, storyteller.
Okay. He said, he is the spark, he is the sun, he is the light in the darkness.
What he said.
So, my question was, does my communication implant help with this at all, or no?
Your communication implant essentially is a cell phone in your head. It doesn't, it's not a translator.
It translates stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so Cold one to
Cool.
Robot, if our AI sends you a information packet, can you update your language systems?
That's some good thinking, Colb. I like it.
Carla, it speaks, so I need you to roll to see what you understand it to be.
Can I do intellect and education?
Language should be higher unless you have it untrained.
Okay, let me look.
Because language should be adding to your education roll.
Oh, I see. Okay. So I got a 9 and a 1.
Okay.
So just to confirm what you just said, look, I'm hovering over my roll, and it says I rolled 2d6 plus 1 plus no modifier, right? And that modifier is when it's the bypass, right? So the modifier or the 2d6 and then the plus 1 is what I'm getting extra when I use language. Is that correct?
You are getting a plus 1 from that language.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah. So it says, those that are blind cannot hear. I cannot see. His word, I can feel your heartbeat.
Can I each time she does these rolls, can I do an education roll on it or no?
You can. If you break 10, you begin to start at least being able to have a concept of what's going.
What is going on here? I got rolled a 5 and a 2. What the hell?
The xenobiologist probably is going to do this a little better than most of you. Unless you guys want to start like ripping up the machine, she's doing it in an anthropological method. Most of you guys are engineers. So.
But that doesn't explain why my rolls are such garbage, though.
It does in role playing.
So, TOO, have you been recording what this robot has been saying for the past few minutes?
No, I'm under current orders to turn off all recordings when a captain is in a room with the subject.
Captain, can you please negate that?
Wait, right. When we leave here, it is quite possible that the AI remains here. She's going to identify the captain having been here, and more information could be more of a problem.
Okay, well, at this moment, I'm working on the task at hand to try to better understand what it's saying. Captain, would you be so kind as to request that recordings can happen, and then we can ask the robot to repeat what it's last said?
To initiate communication in this room and begin interpretation protocol for the robot.
Yes, Captain.
Robot, I'm not sure what you would call yourself. Could you please repeat the last few sentences that you've communicated to us?
It says audibly in your current language, repeat.
Is it understanding us better now?
Robot, please make your statement before the last one again.
That who is blind cannot speak. And this is I'm just saying off the translation she already succeeded on. That I cannot see its voice. I feel your heart.
Can I pull up on the computer how the captain was communicating with the robot, or
there was no cameras.
Are you relaying any of that information of your translation, or is the computer translating it all?
The computer has no ability to translate it.
Okay.
What I'd like to do is, TOO, if you can put those words that you heard into text format for us onto the computer screen in either this room or just outside the door.
It essentially breaks apart the sounds that the robot said into words on a screen.
Okay, that each time TOO, each time this robot speaks, this is the method in which I would like to see the information.
Okay. By the way, everyone's education roll now, you're going to need 8s instead of 10s.
Maybe I'll start doing less crummy.
Oh.
Okay. I got 13 and 3.
You realize what it's saying is it can communicate feelings, and the more you emote, the more it'll be able to respond in your emotions. It can't talk to the computer because it has no soul. It can't feel.
In my background, in my story, could you look to see if there would have been any kind of meditative schooling or any kind of event that would have denoted that I would have any understanding of chakras, things like that or whatever?
Yeah, I'll let you have a science roll on that.
Okay.
Because theoretically in this world there is psychic powers, so it's you're going to do a pure science to try to determine a science that you're not an expert in.
So science, can I use psychology?
Yeah, I'll let you do psychology.
Not horrible. 6
Not
and
great.
3.
It's essentially, clearly, that it's able to feel, not robot.
Okay, I attempt to emote my my questions through my bodily person. Like,
Why are you dancing around? What is it saying?
so what I've been able to glean from what I've read is that the robot is more of an intuitive communicator, whereas it's more feeling what's going on around us than it's going to verbalize around us.
It's like a high-tech emoticon.
Sure.
Robot, what is your protocol? Your primary directive.
Home.
You said home?
Mm-hmm.
Are you able to speak to some of the aliens who are from your home now that you're here on this planet?
Echo.
Can I roll on that?
Sure, but it actually said echo in your language.
I see. Are you saying you're hearing echoes of them in the past?
No.
You're hearing echoes of them currently?
No.
Can you hear the echoes?
Yes.
Can you identify the source?
It's confused because it doesn't get the word identify.
Do you
Do you need help?
jump, combine.
I'll roll on that. Yeah.
Okay. Sure.
You seek to combine with the source?
No.
With the echo?
No.
All
Nicholas,
right.
you figure out
No.
it's good enough because remember you guys have it on the wall now, so it's easier to determine. It wants you to let it go.
Sorry, Patrick, say that again, please.
It wants you to let it go.
I
What
asked
is-
it if it needed help or wants help.
It didn't consider that help.
What is holding you here?
I give Nicholas a side view, kind of like, are you kidding? Because the door's been closed, and we like I look at him quizzically, like is that?
The door is now currently open. I don't know if it's if it's required to stay here, or if it can leave on its own volition now. I don't know.
You might assume that we would shut the door again the moment it tried to leave.
Captain, may I connect?
Yes.
It stands up. It turns away from the front door, and it starts walking towards the bulkhead. It, without having any delay or separation, like the bulkhead is a Japanese paper door, it just starts walking through the ship, ripping it apart with no effort, strength, or it's even trying to rip it apart. It is just walking through the hull.
Can I roll and see what I thought connect meant?
Sure. You got a blow away roll. I'll...
What the hell with these rolls? This number 15 is bunk.
Okay. It gets about 5 feet, which is enough to get it out of the ship, and you see it jump down. And you see a hole outside.
Chris
I am
follows.
not following.
Okay, you can't go the way it went, because it's a little narrower than you guys, and didn't make any space. It's a perfect silhouette of the guy. So you guys could leave the room, go to the open part, and still see it if you want.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will go out.
You go over there, and you see it just walking in a direction in the sand.
Was the rover already upgraded, or did
No,
was
that's
that idea?
that's coming after
None
the
of
robot.
that happened.
Robot, stop.
I attempt to make it up to the turrets to see if I am able to use them.
You are absolutely able to do so.
Don't shoot it.
I'm just getting prepared so that if something stupid happens, you're protected.
Okay. It gets about 600 feet. Are people going to do anything?
Yeah, I've been trying to catch it and tell it to stop.
When you
Okay.
said stop, did it listen? Was it able to hear?
It jumped down. You guys are up there. You're screaming randomly. It can only sense feelings. It's a little distant to grab your feeling. So I will allow Kolb to do an athletics roll to catch up to it.
I would take a moment to try to grab a couple of the ration bars, maybe a little bit of water, if we've got it in a container, and then I would run after Cole.
Okay, well, you do not catch it. You are within. You do at least get on its speed. It is not sinking in the sand like you are. Now, Steinbach, you can roll your athletics, but you're going to need to be pretty good to beat Chris's walk there because he was ahead of you.
And this is a bad roll for me.
So you're still well behind Chris. Chris, you can roll again. There's going to be 3 rolls of movement before it's going to be in the past the dunes where Carla can shoot it if she wants to.
Well, 6 and 3.
No. How many dice do you have? You're rolling really badly. You're actually really good at this roll. You got a 5 and a 1 the first time, and a 1 and a 2 the second time. How'd you on a 5-1 get a 3 roll?
I got a 2 and 2 on the first time. You're looking at Baxter.
Oh. Okay. Baxter, do your roll, and Chris, do your last roll.
Got a
Chris,
10 and a 6.
you are on it. And Baxter is within 10 feet of you. So, Chris, you are right on you're right on the robot.
Robot, stop.
It turns and looks at you.
Robot, explain interface or connect. Explain connect.
Purpose of discovery.
What is the distance to connection?
Just beyond hope.
Robot, follow me. And Chris will start to walk back to the ship. Does it follow it?
The robot is going to attempt to pick you up.
Can I roll on the Just Beyond Hope for understanding?
Would you have heard that?
Yeah, they're talking over there. Yeah, they got a good, like 500-600 feet. So are you going to try to dodge the creature?
Yes, I will try to dodge. I will not fight it though if it grabs me.
Okay, grab the athletics.
Oh, 5 and a 1.
No. It picks you up and starts taking you because it is following your exact intent to come with me. So it's like, well, you'll come with me.
I guess I will follow after them.
Okay.
Do I believe that our rover that we've retrofitted can...
It has not been retrofitted. That's the key issue.
The intention was there. We did not do it because we wanted
talk to
to
the robot.
robot.
Okay.
Does it mean you can't do it?
Robot, return to the ship so we can get supplies for this sojourn.
I thirst.
Me too, and we'll make sure that I have water, and then we'll go satiate your thirst.
It puts you down.
Stay with me. We'll do this together, and then he walks toward the ship.
Okay. It starts following you. Okay. So, Carla, you see them walking back. Baxter looks like he needs another drink.
He can get it himself.
Okay. So, we are now at 8 o'clock. I think we're at a good point where you're going to decide to refit yourself and then go where the creature is asking you to go, which is just beyond hope. I hope you all enjoyed today's game. A lot of kind of mysteries are starting, and we will catch up next time.